What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about signs that he sees your weak or your weaknesses, or why he's doing what he's doing to you. What variables are you giving off that give him this opportunity? Okay. Now, I think this is a really important video to watch because if you're someone who keeps on attracting the same type of guys, keep on getting into the same type of BS. You're talking to men who are emotionally available, men who show a lot of interest in the beginning, then it pulls off, or guys just who are sporadic and take you for granted. You're going to want to watch this video, okay? So, jumping right into it, the first thing I want to do is lay the groundwork. It's really important you understand how not just the male mind works, but how humans work and how we got to where we are today. As humans, from an evolutionary perspective, well, just in all areas actually, we are very resourceful, meaning, we're looking for the coupons, we're looking for the discounts, we're looking for the easy, accessible, low-hanging fruit, okay? It takes less effort to get it, and we obtain it, that we save on resources. Great, awesome. Humans are very, 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 very good at seeking this out, okay? And I always tell my clients, if a guy is treating you the way he is, it's either because, well, three things. One, but we're not going to talk about this one because I think this is kind of obvious. Maybe he's just a piece of fucking shit, right? Maybe the guy's just an ass. Maybe the guy's just a manipulator, a bad upbringing, something on his end. But besides that, I'm not trying to downplay it. That is important, but you know what? I can't help you with that guy. I mean, I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to you. But the other reasons are because you let him, okay? And we'll get into that. And because you have shown him variables that you're willing to put up with it. So what are these variables? What are these things that men are not all men, but men are naturally inclined to look at this or look for these things. Now, what they do with it is another, okay? And what I mean when I say this is, people have to understand, what people do not like my take on a lot of dating advice, even though it's the most accurate, I believe, out there. And I know this as a guy who used to be the guy that I talk about. I talk to men also. I study evolutionary psychology religiously and all that kind of stuff. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. I'm not up in the clouds, ladies. I'm not these other dating coaches who do seminars. I'm not these other dating coaches who release courses and courses and courses on tech. Not that I don't have that, but that's not my main spiel. I get a lot of my income, a lot of my fulfillment. A lot of my fulfillment from helping people one-on-one. And so I see the patterns. I see what you guys do, and I see what guys seek, okay? So the variables are the woman who, doesn't accept the reality of what's going on. The woman who gives a guy too many chances. The woman who is too sweet. The woman who lets the guy come and go. A woman who, you get what I'm saying? Like, basically a woman who gives a guy something that he doesn't deserve, that he doesn't work for. Meaning, going back to what I said of the low-hanging fruit, if I'm not working for it and I get it, like, why would I not take advantage of that? Again, Mother Nature doesn't give a shit about the moral aspect of things. She doesn't care about your morals and values. That's a very man-made concept. Not that it's not important. Not that it doesn't matter. And someone would argue, well, Mother Nature does care about it with, bonding and stuff like that, because we have the same values, we're more likely to work out. Okay, on that sense, yes, I guess so. But, I always, the counter argument I have to that is lying. Lying has a reward system, unfortunately. If I can lie and get away with it, okay, then I manipulate the outcome, I invest less in less resources, and I still get the same result I want. So the analogy I use, and I'm not saying this is right, but if I tell you I want a relationship when I don't, and that's the best way to get in your pants, I'm more likely to get in your pants without having to prove myself for months and months and months and months, right? So this happens all the time in the dating field. But the reason he's doing what he's doing to you, the reason the weakness you're giving off is that you're too dependent on the outcome. Ladies, it is not a coincidence that the guys that you don't want you, and the guys that you want are looking elsewhere, that are sporadic with you. That's not a coincidence. That's how this whole spectrum works. Men have to prove themselves to be with you. And if they don't, it's going to hurt. I know you don't want that outcome. I know you like the guy, but you have to cut it off. You have to cut it off. He doesn't get this opportunity. If you stick around, that's like you saying, that's like you being a tenant and being like, wait, is it the other way around? And the person can't pay the rent, and you're like, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. I got it this month. Someone has to pay the cost. Someone has to pay the cost. And when a man's investing in a woman, that is a clear, Mother Nature wants you to do this, right? It's parental investment theory. She wants a man to invest in you because you are at a higher risk for making the wrong decision than a man is. And we can get into all why that is. If you want to know more about it, it's in my my guides. I talk about a lot of what I'm saying right now in my guides, links down below. There's 6 of them. I talk about everything in there, a lot more depth. But he has to prove himself because you're at a higher risk for making the wrong decision. It's called parental investment theory. And if a guy's not investing, but you're just giving him the benefit of the doubt all the time, or you're just like sweeping it under the rug because you really like him, you're taking on a huge burden of risk. And when a guy sees this sign, it's over. It's over. He knows he has you. He knows he has you. Ladies, you cannot put yourself in this position. If you're talking to a guy, I'm not saying be high mains. I'm not saying be strict. I'm saying have structure. A guy should be taking you out. A guy should be near perfect attendance in terms of reaching out. You should be talking 5 days a week, okay? Texting. Maybe call on the phone once, depending on where you're at in this whole thing. You should be seeing each other once a week unless something's up, right? Like someone's taking a business trip or going over here or going over there, whatever. There has to be some type of structure. I always say without structure, there's chaos. It's not going to work well. So ladies, if you want to avoid these type of men, you gotta slow the pace down. And slowing the pace down, think of it like this, like it extends the time, it extends the gap in which you can get more, like you're not haste to make a decision. He can invest more, he can prove himself more, and you can look and reflect on it and say, okay, that's enough. I like this. I trust you. I trust if I'm about to give you this power, you're not going to take advantage of it, which just happened to one of my clients. She came to me because she was talking to a guy for four or about a month, slept with him on the 4th date, which isn't bad. That's not the problem. I know some of you don't agree with that. That's not the problem. The problem was, I don't think, from her telling me the story, I'm not going to go into detail with it, it wasn't the right time. I don't think the guy proved himself enough. I don't think the guy was there has to be like checkpoints. There has to be a checklist of things that, the consistency, the amount he's investing in, what he's investing, like his time. Does he want the same thing as you? Do you know his emotional, like the state he's in? Like, is he emotionally available? Do you know his background? Have you done your detective? Like, all this stuff matters. It's like, I always say, it's like, the analogy I use is like, it's like an interview. You're talking to somebody, you have to know why they quit their last job. You're going to ask that question. If you're going to do that when hiring someone, why aren't you doing that when you're choosing a mate? You have to know his dating history. I'm not saying talk about it on the first date, but you have to know his dating history. You have to know what he's looking for. You have to know what his goal is, at least when it comes to job interviews. Like, why do you want to work for us? You know, I'm not saying you have to say, why do you want to date me? But why are you on the dating apps? Like, what are you looking for? Are we on the same page? If he gives you some bullshit answer where he beats around the bush and you're still talking to him, that's a sign. That's a sign, ladies. That's a weak ass sign. He's going to take advantage of it. I promise you. Okay? It's not hard. I understand the problem is y'all have your heart, what do they say, your heart on your sleeve or whatever, and you're wearing it on the outside, and you want to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. You're a nice person, but it's that niceness that men take advantage of, okay? So with that being said, again, if you want to work with me or you want my guides, links are down below, ladies. I love you all. Take care, and peace.